Steigenberger Minerva Nile Cruise Travel Journal by Alice Phillips. Day 1, Aswan. The journey begins. The warm air of Aswan greeted me like a comforting shawl as I stepped off the plane. Even before I saw the cruise ship, I could feel the pulse of the Nile calling me. At the terminal, a cheerful representative was already waiting with a sign and a smile. Talk about a smooth start. Moments later, I stood face to face with the elegant Steigenberger Minerva, her sleek silhouette glinting in the sun. After embarkation and a refreshing welcome drink, I dropped my bags in my cabin and headed straight to the dining area for lunch. My view? The Nile itself, rolling quietly past palms and ancient shores. I sat there, fork in hand, half in awe, half in disbelief. Later in the afternoon, we set out to explore the granite quarries, an immense open-air museum of unfinished dreams. The sheer size of the obelisk, still lying half-carved in the stone, left me speechless. How on earth did they imagine lifting something that colossal? Then came the magical Philae Temple, perched on its island, seemingly floating between sunlight and myth. The delicate carvings and peaceful setting made me feel like I had stepped into a lullaby sung by the gods. Back on board, afternoon tea was served as the sky turned honey gold. A gentle breeze accompanied dinner, and afterward we were treated to a Nubian folkloric show. The colors, drums, and joy of the dancers made it impossible not to tap along. Egypt had already begun to enchant me. Summary of the day: watching the Philae Temple glow in the late afternoon sun felt like meeting history face to face, graceful, timeless, and alive. Day 2, Komombo and Edfu, gods of the riverbanks, to the gentle hum of the cruise sailing toward Komombo. Breakfast on the sundeck with fresh melon and hot coffee. It felt like a dream sequence. Our visit to Komombo Temple was like stepping into a split reality, dedicated to both Sobek and Heraris. The symmetry of this twin temple was mesmerizing. I ran my fingers across the carved crocodiles and falcons, each stone echoing divine duality. Back on board, we cruised onward to Edfu, past villages and waving children on the riverbanks. Lunch was light and delicious. Don't skip the tahini, and after a short rest, it was time to hop into a horse-drawn carriage. Yes, really. Approaching the temple of Horus at Edfu was like entering a fortress built for gods. It's massive, immaculate, and utterly awe-inspiring. The columns soared, and the walls told stories older than most civilizations. I stood in the sanctuary where Horus was believed to reside, silent and still, as if listening for echoes from ancient worshippers. Evening tea awaited us under a tangerine sky. As the sun dipped, the Nile mirrored it in ripples of light. Dinner was elegant, and a summary of the day. At Edfu, I didn't just see a temple. I felt like I had walked into a god's living room. Day 3, Luxor, West Bank wonders. We docked in Luxor, and I was bursting with anticipation. Breakfast felt secondary. I just wanted to leap into history. First stop, the Valley of the Kings. Walking into the tombs was surreal. The silence, the cool air, and the radiant colors inside made me gasp aloud. The ancient Egyptians truly believed in eternity, and you can feel it in every painted scene. Next, we passed the Colossae of Memnon, standing tall like ancient guardians, stoic and proud. I couldn't help but imagine how glorious the original temple behind them must have been. Then came Hatshepsut's temple, an architectural masterpiece carved into the cliffs. Standing in front of it, I felt a rush of admiration for Egypt's most powerful female pharaoh. The clean lines, vast courtyards, and dramatic backdrop made it feel like something designed by time itself. We returned to the ship just in time for a delightful lunch. I spent the afternoon watching the Nile glide by, sipping hibiscus tea on a lounge chair, utterly at peace. Summary of the day. Standing before Hatshepsut's temple, I felt her fierce spirit echo through stone and sky. Day 4. Luxor, East Bank farewell. Our final morning began with a visit to the Karnak Temple, a city of pillars, an open-air wonderland. Walking through the hypostyle hall with its massive columns was overwhelming in the best way. I craned my neck upward, spun in circles, and tried to take it all in. Light filtered through the ancient stone like whispered secrets. We continued to Luxor Temple, elegant and poised along the riverbank. It felt more intimate, yet no less powerful. I sat for a while near the seated statues of Ramses II, trying to memorize every detail before saying goodbye. Back at the cruise, we had our final lunch. I lingered longer than usual, watching the river, the birds, the passing sails. It was time to disembark, but part of me had already left a piece of my heart in this golden stretch of history. Summary of the day. The colonnades of Karnak felt like the world's oldest cathedral, divine, immense, and deeply humbling.